morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today we're going to be talking about not just a better way to eliminate debt, but the best way to eliminate debt using AI. And the P.I.L.L Method was talking about AI years ago before it became, popular to talk about. Artificially intelligent computers actually giving us control over our finances when we found out that banking has been overcharging us by 75% on our interest costs. Good morning, Ayana. How are you? It's good to see you this morning. Let's go ahead and start inviting some people in here. And good morning to everyone who is watching us online on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We are going to talk about it today. If you want to come to the stage, please do. If you're in Clubhouse, and we're going to go over the very best way to eliminate debt. Let's get some people in here because listen, folks, I need you to understand what is actually happening when it comes to your finances. Can I do that? Can we talk about that today? You see, it's all about when you're talking about borrowing and lending, borrowing and paying back debt, borrowing money and paying it back. You're talking about a business that is based on making interest on those loans. Now, if you are a lender, what you want is to make as much money as you can for as long as you can. As much money as you can for as long as you can. So here's the thing. If you want to do better in finances, listen, whatever you want to do better in, don't you need to understand how the whole thing works, how the game is played? Don't you need to understand that? If you want to be better at your job, whatever your job is, don't you want to be the best? If whatever you're doing, if you want to write a book, don't you want it to be a good book? If you want to prepare a dish, don't you want it to taste good and be nutritious? Listen, if you want to do anything in life, you want to study how the whole thing comes together. What is the best way to do it? Here's what I know for sure. I've been asking this question for 18 years. How many of you have ever had a class on how amortization actually works, how the bank makes its money through interest, and how you can do better in that system? There are no classes on how interest is charged and how you can pay a lot less interest. Not only that, but there are no classes on how to optimally pay as little interest as mathematically possible for you. I'm talking about cutting out $150,000 to $250,000 in interest you never have to pay. Oh my goodness, look who just popped in here. Coffee Brown with the new glasses on.
Yes, sir. Praise God. I got to wear glasses now, Don, so I had to accept it. It was challenging at first because, I like to be cute, but now I have to wear glasses.
Well, listen.
I'm so sorry. I have to wear glasses.
Listen. You got the cute glasses on.
Hey, I had to invest. You know what I mean? Hey, if this is my lot in life, I may as well invest in it.
Coffee, what's going on with you? Can you talk to us this morning? What's happening with you?
I'm in the gym right now, Don, and I'm in the valley of decision because I'm getting these phone calls about, these different positions and stuff. So I got a few friends that own companies that want to create jobs for me.
Yes.
And I'm just asking Jesus himself to tell me which one to take. I don't want to be in my own way anymore. So I told the Lord, go ahead and crush my will so his will will be done, because I'm not going to give it up. I got to be in control. So the Lord is just crushing my will right now, Don.
I heard that. I heard that.
Yeah, I'm hard-headed by nature. I'm not trying to change.
Listen,
I ain't gonna lie.
I heard that, but that's what needs to happen. Listen, if you can be led into something, and and ask God, listen, give me something that you give me an idea that you can that's blessed, instead of you trying to ask God to bless your ideas.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay.
And we've been doing it backwards for so long.
So long.
We've grown accustomed to self gratification. It's all about us. That's where that selfish nature comes from. And this is the reason why people in our hue are not independently wealthy, because we get the money and reap it to ourselves. We don't take it back to the community. We don't get all the drug dealers off the streets, teach them how to work, teach them how to generate revenue, because they're already bosses. Right. We just need to teach them how to be bosses without a consequence negatively. They're already bosses. They got all these people following them. So if we take them and cultivate their thinking and mature them, then they can go back out, get those same guys that was on the street doing illegal things that could cause them death, hell, and destruction, and bring them in an organization and turn around and send them back to add value and not destruction.
Oh my goodness. Listen, what if we could do that? What if we decided that that's what we were going to do?
It's already decided. We just needed people to execute it. Remember, the harvest is ripe.
Oh,
the laborers are few.
The harvest is already there.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is our chief engineer in the building today?
Listen, we're doing the whole thing now.
Oh,
we are doing the
gave it to you, huh?
Listen, man, listen. He was here for a season.
Wow.
And he says, Don,
so
I need
over with your training ground.
Listen, wow. I need you to do this on your own. So he was here for a season, but I kept him around a little bit too long. That's what I did that. That was my fault.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty as well. So guilty.
Because
you know how we do.
Listen, talking about what
power, Don.
Exactly. Talking about what we're talking about here. And then pushing all the buttons and everything too. Kurt was he's a master at it. But then
he's a puppet master.
Yes. And so I see him. He is not only on screen on his own show, but he's producing it. I mean, he's pushing all the buttons. He's doing everything. So he taught me how.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I need a producer for just a season, because I need to get my all my proper equipment. And then from there, I'll do what you do, because I produce all my stuff now, but there's a couple of elements that are missing. Yeah. That I definitely need that support.
Coffee Brown, before you get out of here, will you tell the folks what you do?
Whatever it takes. That's what I do. I do whatever it takes for all of us to win. The end.
Well, listen, I want. Okay, and tell us where you are in the world today.
Today I'm actually in a city called Richmond, Texas, and I'll be heading to Houston here shortly after I work out and get ready. But I'm all over the place right now, but I'm pretty much here in Houston with Dr. Marcus D. Cosby over at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, getting ready to add value to their social justice ministry. Oh. They're in the heart of Houston and dealing with this educational crisis here. They're on the forefront, making sure that our students get the proper education that they need. So they're doing a great work, and we're adding value to them. We were with Pastor Joel, but he's a light bright. He's not going to the streets. Okay. So we love him. And we saw him this past Sunday, but he can't go to the streets.
He can't go to the streets. So.
We got to keep him at the church.
He's too popular.
We got to protect him. He's too pretty. He's too pretty. And he's too short. He's too pretty and he's too short. Two problems. We can't put him in the street. Yeah?
Can't put him in
the street. Can't put him in the street.
Pastor Osteen can't go to the street.
No, they would eat him alive. We come back and find his remains. We can't let him bother Joe.
Stay on TV.
He's too short. He's too short and he's too pretty.
All right.
Take him to Joe. We just say, if he says they're qualified, then he'll let them preach.
I got you.
If they're heathens, he won't let them preach.
I got you.
You know how he is.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, you just know.
It's good to hear your voice. I cannot wait to see you again. I want to get you here again. Not under false pretenses like last time, because they lied to me about how they were going to do it. But it's okay. Listen, it is what it is. Politics in school. I will be glad to come and talk to the folks about what we're talking about, especially what we're talking about today.
All right.
Absolutely.
Because we are breaking down today the best way to eliminate debt using
Awesome.
artificial intelligence. That's
Well,
what we're
guess what,
talking about
Don?
today.
I can be officially your poster child. I have a property. My brother and I, we purchased it back in 2015 intentionally, after my late husband passed when I got here to Texas, and now we're at a crossroads. The property is we have a mortgage on it of about 132,000,
Hmm.
and it's worth 338
Hmm.
cash.
Okay.
So what we're going to do with that capital, take a portion of it, create three UILs for my three children.
Hmm.
Then we're going to take another portion of it and eliminate all of my debt, every ounce of it. Then we're going to take another portion and actually put it into a pot with other people of our hue
Hmm.
so that we can start creating that generational wealth that we've heard about.
Can I help you with that? Because if
Absolutely.
you take that cash, all right, and
Hmm.
and pay off the debt in one lump sum,
Hmm. Hmm.
you're losing opportunities.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm talking about. I should have qualified the statement.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of the business debt, not the personal debt.
Well,
The business debt has to go.
it has to go.
Yeah,
Does it have to
because
go right?
we're losing opportunity. No, it has to go right now
It has
before
to
the
go
end of
right now.
this year. It's like, yeah,
Okay.
we're not getting the access that we need because
Okay.
I'm the only one that will have a credit score of 800 out of the group.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
we got to
right.
have these kind of scores for the big projects.
All right. Well, let me listen. Keep me in the loop, and I will make
Of course.
sure that you save interest on the loan, and you can take your cash and use it to make money with. Okay. Your money
Yes,
should
sir.
be making
I will do
babies.
it. It's got kids. It's got like too many kids, and now I'm
Hmm.
accused of being out there in the streets making babies. But
Okay.
it's okay.
It's
It's okay.
okay. All right.
It's
Well,
okay.
all right.
All right,
Well,
Don, I got to roll.
we're going to
Much
jump.
honor to you, sir.
All right. Listen, we're going to jump in. You keep listening in. If you hear something, jump right back. Okay.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. Start inviting some people in here today, because what I want to talk to you about today, right now, is the fact, talk to you about interest consumption. Interest consumption, because that's what this thing is based on: borrowing money and lending money as a business. If you are a lender, then what you're about is increasing other people's interest consumption. So listen, if you are in the retail business, what you want is for people to come into your store and consume. If you are in the restaurant business, what you want is for people to come through your door and consume the food that you produce. If you are in the car business, you want people to come in, and you want consumers to come in to buy your car. If you are in the banking business, what do we consume in the banking business? What do you want people to do? You want them to consume interest costs. You want them to pay interest as much as they can for as long as they can. And what you also do not want is for people to understand how you do it. You don't. So you want people to consume interest and then give them the illusion of being in control. I want you all that are in here right now, that are watching me online and listening to me in Clubhouse, if you want to see what we're talking about, please go to YouTube. I have put the link in the chat so that you can see what's going on. And I want to say good morning to everybody here. Good morning to everybody. So why is this important? It's important because we're going to pay more interest in life than anything else we ever pay for, even taxes. Yes, the average family has 13 different debts. The average family is paying 35 to 39% of their take home pay just on interest alone. So, why are we Why are we kept in the dark about how much interest we're paying? Why aren't we adding it up? Why aren't we looking at it? We are taught not to look at it. We're taught to look at interest rate, not interest cost. So I look at the interest rate. I get a payment that I can afford, but I have no idea that every time I make that payment, 75 to 83% of that payment is interest. 75 to 83%. Sometimes it's up to 90%. Right now, it's getting close to 90%. All right. Let me show you what I'm talking about when I'm saying that right now, how much interest is being paid out is way, way too much. But what we can do about it, we can do something about it if we just knew how to do something about it. So let me put something on the screen here. Okay. I want to share my screen. All right. There we are. We're going to put that on the screen. All right. Change my whole setup here. There we go. Add this camera. There we are. All right. Just so that I can tell you what we're talking about. I want to put in the median home price is right around $420,000 in the United States today. The interest rates are right at 8%. Okay. Here's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. With this payment here of $3,081.81, $2,800 of this payment is interest. Only $281.81 is going to pay down the principal. Now, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We are not taught to pay attention to how much interest we're consuming. This is one loan. If this is the average family in the United States today, this is one loan of about 13 different loans. One loan of about 13 different loans. And in this one loan, $2,800 is of this family's income is going to interest on just one of the loans. That's what we call interest consumption. On this one loan, $2,800 is being consumed in interest. On the next month, well, you're not, every month you pay less and less interest. So the first month is $2,800 they're paying. All right. But because they owe less the next month, their interest cost goes all the way down to $2,798.12. Oh, come on now. From $2,800 to $2,798.12. In the first year, how much interest is this family consuming in the first year? Just on this one loan, $33,473.20. We think we don't make money. We think we're not making enough money. We're not making enough money because of how much interest we're consuming, and we don't have enough left over to do the things that we would really like to do. It's just taking us too long. Now, there are some of us that are okay with what's going on. We're okay. We just know that we're going to go to work. We're going to get a paycheck. We're going to pay the bills. We're going to have some fun and live for the weekend. We know that's what we're going to do for the next 30 years. And there are some people that are okay with that. Some people are beginning to look at their finances and do a little bit of math, just a little bit, and saying, you know what? If I keep going like I'm going, we have a house. It's in a neighborhood that is great. The schools in our neighborhood are great. The neighbors are great. Everything is good. Life is good. Until I look at the statement the bank sends me and I see on that statement $2,800 of my $3,081, my payment of $3,081, and 2,800 of it goes to interest. None of that money helps me. None of it helps me. None of it helps me. Why are we're in a system that keeps us blind to what's really happening behind the scenes. We think we're in control because we go to work. We buy a car. We can move about the country anytime we want. We have credit cards. We have a house. We've got a good job. Our kids are going to great schools. We have fun with our family and friends. When it comes to the holidays, we got Thanksgiving coming up. We're making plans to go on to do Thanksgiving. And some of us are going to do Thanksgiving and Christmas in a climate other than what we live in. We can actually go to a different country and enjoy Christmas with our shorts on because we have that much money. So we're not paying attention to how much the bank is taking out of our finances. 35 to 39% of our take-home pay. 35 to 39% of our take-home pay. Okay? That's called inattentional blindness. We're blind to what is actually going on right in front of us. On this loan that this family can well afford, they can well afford this mortgage. What they're not looking at, most families with a mortgage like this, over 90% of the families that have a mortgage like this, they're not, and I repeat, they are not looking at how much interest they are paying. In the first year, they're paying $33,473 in interest, while only $3,500 is attributed to principal. In the second year on this loan, they paid this loan down by $7,300. That's it. Out of all the money that they're putting forth on this loan, out of $3,081 every month for 24 months, only $7,000 of that money $7,300 of that money has paid down the loan, while $66,655 went into the banker's coffers. They're saying, you pay us $66,555 of your money, and we'll let you pay down this loan by $7,300. Why are we even putting up with that? The only way we put up with that, ladies and gentlemen, is if we don't pay attention to it. After 3 years, we've paid the loan down by $11,400. $99,521.84 goes to interest. If you want to see this, listen, it helps if you can see the numbers. Go to our YouTube channel. The link is in the chat, and you can watch this on YouTube. After 4 years, $15,000. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is craziness. This is a mortgage that these folks can well afford, and they just get into the habit of making their mortgage payment every month on time, keeping their credit score in the high 700s or even 800. Their credit score is phenomenal. Credit score is phenomenal because they pay their bills on time. And banks love it when you pay your bills on time, because this is the kind of interest you are going to pay them. They don't manufacture anything. They don't produce anything. They just have money. They just set it up so that you can borrow it, and you have a note that says you're going to pay back the money plus interest. In other words, out of your $3,000, they set up a system that makes your payment inefficient. They set up a system where 90% of your payment goes to interest. 90% of it. That's the system that is set up so that we are okay with that. We're okay with paying 90% of our money towards interest because we're not looking at it. It's different if you're made to look at it. Okay. After 4 years, you pay this loan down by $15,879, but you pay $132,000 to interest just so. Listen, folks, can anybody tell me, does this make any sense at all? That you work hard to pay your loan down by $15,879 in just 4 years, but the bank gets to charge you $132,000 in order to do it. How in the world is that fair? How in the world does that make sense? The only way it makes sense to us is you must not look at how much you're actually paying in interest. Because if you do, it will scare. Ayana wants to come to the stage. Okay? Ayana, come on up. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, I'm doing good, Don. How are you?
I am doing well. What would you like to what would you like to say to the people this morning?
Hello, guys. I actually spoke with Don, my husband, and myself, and we're looking forward to joining the program. Um, Based off of the stuff that we seen, it looks amazing. The information that we were given, we were amazed to receive that information because no one ever told us. This is not our first house or our first mortgage. And I'm a paper writer, so I'm constantly writing down what our bills is, how much we owe, what are our limits, the due dates, report dates, what's the interest rates, and trying to figure out how do we pay off this stuff, and save the most amount of money, because obviously we know, the goal is to use your credit card and pay it off in full, but that doesn't happen every time, especially if you have emergency or something and you have to spend out, a little bit more money than you had anticipated, and you still want to live life. So with this program, from what we got, and I let Don know, once we get into the program and start it, I'll definitely hop back on stage and give full honest reviews on, what's happening. But from what we see with the program, with it being a AI program, it digitally calculates not just a mortgage. I know he's been pinpointing the mortgage, but what we really liked is it puts in all of your debt. So you have the opportunity to put in all of your credit cards, your car notes, all of those things, and even input how much you want to have available at your own expenditure during, every month, which is something that I like. It also allows you to, move some things around. So if you worked extra, and you got an extra, couple of dollars coming in, that week or that month, whatever, the situation is, you can implement that right into the system and tell the system, like, hey, on Friday, change of plans. I'm not going to have, $1,000. I'm actually going to have $1,500, and the plan itself would then give you, those suggestions on how to maneuver the money around. So it may say, okay, we'll take $200 and put it on the car note that day, on this day. And that's another thing. It also give you specific days. So it'll say, well, on Tuesday, of the next week, put $200 on the car note. So that in itself is a big help. It's kind of like having a personal assistant that you don't have to pay for every single month. You just get into the program and go from there. And another thing, this is not just paying off the bills. This program also implements savings. So that was a huge plus for us. It also implements that. So it's just telling you, oh, take all your money and dump it on these bills, and then you are sitting there wondering like, well, dang, can we go out to eat today? No, it doesn't operate that way. It allows you to say like, hey, we want to be comfortable and have at least, I'll just make up a number. We want to have at least $1,000, a month for, just spending money, whatever we want to do. And it will implement that in the system. So it will take, that into consideration and tell you, okay, well, on Friday, put, $300 into the savings account, and then this money goes here, so it does that as well. It just a recap. And Don, if I missed anything, please,
Wow, listen
feel.
to you. Listen, we're so glad. Listen, what we have scheduled is that you're going to start the program either on Friday or Monday, whichever fits into your schedule best. Okay. And do you mind sharing? Do you mind sharing how long it's going to take you to become debt free? You don't have to give us, you know, real, intimate details, but do you want to share
It
how long it's going to
was,
take?
yes, seven, if I remember correctly, and I can always go back and look at the calculations that I had got, but I believe it was somewhere around 7.8 years to be debt free. And this is talking about, I want to say we're around like, um, 400 and something thousand in
Wow.
debt.
Yes,
So,
400 something thousand. It's actually 7.3 years.
well,
7.3
that's even
years.
better.
7.3 years saving. Do you mind if I share how much interest you're going to save?
Yes, go ahead.
$139,000 they will not have to pay the bank. 139,000. You see, we have an illusion of being in control. How can you be in control when life is good and you believe life is good, but you're paying out an extra $140,000 you don't need to pay out to the bank? How is it that you're actually in control? Or do you just believe you're in control, paying out that much money? Listen, folks, we want you to actually be in control. And Yana, thank you so much for coming to the stage today. And if you hear anything else you want to jump in on, please do.
No problem at all. I did want to notate that, guys. These calculations was all based on myself and my husband's base amount. We did not actually, and we probably should have, but we didn't because we were still a little nervous. We did not include pretty much any extra income that we know we get every month, because we wanted to make sure that if anything shifted in our atmosphere and we had like emergency while we were working on the program, we didn't want to have a issue where we needed to take all the money from our savings based off the program in order to account for any emergencies. So
Let,
this
let me talk
7.3
about that.
years is off a very minimum.
Let me talk about that, Ayana. So listen, folks, she's right. So, based on the information that we have from others like Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman, we want to take all the money and throw it at the debt and leave the family with very little money to function on. And then, Dave Ramsey will actually listen. Let's put 6 months worth of 6 months worth of income into a savings account just in case something happens like that. Okay, folks, that is exactly the wrong way to do this. Having all that cash sitting in the bank, waiting for an eventuality that may not happen, is a criminal misuse of your money. So I had a banker come to me and he says, you know what? They're trying to put $36,000 away just in case. And I told him, I said, if you take that $36,000 and let's take a look at this mortgage. Okay. If they had this mortgage, They put $36,000 away in the bank just so that they can have it there in case something goes wrong. I can't work for a while. I can't work for 6 months. I can still pay the bills. It's a good idea to think about. It actually rings true that we should have something to fall back on. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't take into account opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means if I use this money this way, I can't also use this money that way. Let me figure out what that's going to cost me. So on this loan, if we put $36,000 away in savings, we could also take that $36,000 and apply it to this mortgage. And if we did, I need you to look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Okay. If we put $36,000 as a prepayment on this loan, you make your mortgage payment and you take that $36,000 that's sitting in the bank and apply it to this loan. Look and see what happens. Wow. $36,000 takes off 93 payments. That's 7 years and 7 years, 7 months off this loan and saves, ladies and gentlemen, here's the number, $250,000 in interest these folks will not have to pay. If we prepay $36,000, it will save them an interest cost, $250,000 in interest they won't have to pay. But the next question would be, well, Don, what are they going to do if there is an emergency? Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you know how to cancel interest, I told the banker, I said, well, now that you've done this, can you go get a line of credit? I said, well, yeah, I work at the bank. I just created $36,000 in equity if I do that. Okay. Additional equity. I can go to the bank and get a line of credit for at least that much. I can get more. So let's say you got that line of credit for $36,000. So I asked the banker, how much interest are you paying on that line of credit? He said, I'm not paying any money in interest on the line of credit. It's just available to me if I need it. I said, what if you never need it? This is it didn't cost me anything. It was there as a safety net. But what if you do need it? Then I have to pay interest on it. Let's take a look at this. Can I show you something? Let's just say that this banker, all right, and I want to thank you, Ayana, for being here because this is going to help us to make our point today. Why we need AI to help us to understand how to optimally save interest. So I gave him some basics. So if we take, it says, well, if I take that $36,000 out, I have to pay it back. And let's just say I'm out of work for 6 months and then I go back to work. All right. I'm back to work. Now I got to pay back the $36,000 that we used to pay on the debt. All right. I borrowed that money from the bank. So what we're going to do is put in another loan for $36,000. Okay. We're going to give ourselves 5 years to pay it back, although he won't need 5 years, but we're just going to give him 5 years to pay it back. Okay. 5 years to pay it back. All right. That's 60 months. All right. Okay. Take that. Okay. Take that. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Delete that and delete that. 60 months. And we're just going to leave it at 6% interest, 6% interest on this loan. All right. And we'll calculate that. Okay. His payment is going to be $695.98 a month. He can easily handle that. But his total interest cost, I need you to take a look at the total interest cost on this, is $5,758.80. The reason why he was taught not to borrow money for emergencies is because he has to pay interest on the money he borrows for his emergency. In this case, if he pays back every dime the way the bank wants him to pay it back, the most in interest he could pay is $5,700, $5,758. Or he could use his $36,000 in a savings account for his emergency and not pay $5,700. Or he can take his $36,000, put it on this mortgage, and knock out 7 years, 7 months worth of mortgage payments he never has to make immediately. Do that in 1 month and save his family $250,000 in interest he doesn't have to pay. He was floored. He works at the bank, and he never looked at his interest consumption this way. You see, I would gladly pay somebody $5,000 to use their money so that I can use my money to save my family $250,000 in interest I don't have to pay. Do you see what happens when we are blind to the amount of interest we're consuming each month? The bank just loves that when we're blind to how much interest we're consuming. So what do we do? What do we do to make sure that we can consume a lot less money? What do we need on our side to combat what the bank is doing on their side of the ledger? What are they doing? All right. And what can we do about it? So if I could listen, I see Audrey Johnson says disagree and reserve cash is needed. Okay. Audrey, listen, I don't want people to think that they don't need reserve cash. They do need reserve cash. Okay? They do need reserve cash. But what we need to understand is, what is reserve cash? I have money. Okay? I've got money on my credit cards. Can I spend that money? Can I spend the money on the credit cards? Right. See, here's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know the cost of your money. Did you know the most expensive money you have is money that's sitting in the bank? I have $36,000 sitting in the bank that I have for reserve just in case something goes wrong. Okay. How much am I making on that money sitting in the bank? Somebody tell me. How much am I making on that money sitting in the bank? 1/10 of 1%? 1/10 of 1%. Or I can take that money and put it on my mortgage and save, in this case, $250,000 I don't need to pay the bank. Okay. Now, what do we do? What do we do for reserve? Well, if I borrow money and I know how much it's going to cost me to borrow the money, now I can do an opportunity cost calculation. So what if I put it to you this way, ladies and gentlemen? Would you pay, and you can put it in the chat, would you pay $5,000 if you absolutely knew you can save $250,000 on your mortgage? You tell me that. Put it in the chat, yes or no. Would you pay $5,000 so that you could save $250,000? You see, it matters when you start to do the math and look at things the way the bank does not want you to. So Jennifer Felder, PhD, says yes. Ayana says yes. Marguerite Chester says yes. Does anybody disagree? Does anybody disagree? Okay. And listen, I love to talk about all of these things. Does anybody else want to come to the stage and talk about this in Clubhouse? Do we have a body online who is watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn? Put something in the chat. Okay. So raise your hand, come to the stage. Let's talk about it today. All right. Let's talk about what is going on behind the scenes with interest consumption. Folks, we have to be more careful. Now, like I said before, there are some that they're just used to doing things the way that they've always done it, and they don't care. But there are some that are waking up and starting to read their financial information. They're starting to take a look at that statement that the bank is sending them on that mortgage for the house that they love, the neighborhood that it's in, the schools that the kids get to attend, and all the parties they give at the house. Listen, we've got 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. 4 of them are en suite. Okay, so listen, we got this. It's a great house. Okay, it's a great house, and we can well afford the payment. But when you take a look at what's really going on, when we have a payment of $3,081, okay, and my first interest payment is $2,800 divided by my total payment of $3,081.81, then I find out that the interest portion of my payment comes to 91% of my payment. 91% of my payment. That means out of every mortgage dollar, just the mortgage dollar, not the taxes and insurance, but every mortgage dollar, 91 cents out of every dollar goes to interest. And I'm buying my house with 9 cents out of every dollar that I'm putting forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please tell me how that makes sense. Does it make sense to you? When you break it down this way, that 9 cents out of every dollar you're working, pay down your mortgage, only 9 cents out of that dollar is going towards the mortgage. 91 cents out of every dollar goes to interest. Does that make sense to you guys? Is there anybody who wants to do something about this situation? Where in 5 years on this mortgage, if we don't pay attention, 5 years on this mortgage of $420,000 at 8%, because that's where the interest rates are right now. 5 years on this mortgage at 8%, that's 60 payments. You will pay this loan down by $20,706.50. $20,706. You'll pay it down by that much. That much is going to principal. Where $164,202.10 goes to interest. Folks, that is $185,000 paid to the bank in just 5 years. 185 hard-earned dollars, 185,000 hard-earned dollars goes to the bank in just 5 years on this mortgage, and only 20,000 of it is applied to the principal. Somebody's making money here. Somebody's in control here, and it ain't us. What are we going to do about it? So, can I talk to you about AI and how that helps? So listen, thank you. So we have 4 people share this room already. Thank you so much for sharing it. Continue to share it. If you're online, share this with other folks. Here's what I need you all to do for me today. Okay? Here's what I need you to do for me today. Share this with everybody you know. Share this, this show number 275 on YouTube. Okay? Share this with your pastors. Share this with your friends. Share this with teachers. Share this with anybody who's in business that you know. Share this with your news media outlets. If you have a friend in the news media, make sure they get the link to this so that the word can get out that we're paying 75% more interest than we need to, and we don't have to do it. So let me give you a little example of what AI can do for you. Okay. Good morning, Horace. and he says good morning from Virginia. He's watching us on YouTube. All right. I want to show you something here, ladies and gentlemen, that just a small amount of money that we're able to put together, can work miracles for us if we know what's going on. So, okay. A small amount of money. Steve, good to see you here this morning. How are you doing?
All right, yourself, how you doing?
Man, I am loving it. I am loving it. We're going to dive into how using artificial intelligence can help us to save a lot of money. I mean, they're talking about AI all the time now. I mean, if you wanted to write a paper for you, if you wanted to write a book, if you if you wanted to do art for you, I mean, AI is fabulous. It can do all sorts of things, and if you set it up right, it can run your whole household. Okay, AI is phenomenal. We've been using AI for the last since 2006 to help people to manage their finances and to optimally save interest and to pay off all of their debt in an average of 7 to 9 years and take that money that they weren't paying in interest and now invest it for themselves. And AI is helping regular families become millionaires with the interest they're no longer giving the bank. What do you think about that, Steve? Steve, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right. What do you think about that? That AI is helping people to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a phenomenal job, especially backed by your knowledge and education. It's a win-win.
Thank you, sir, for being here today. Anybody else, please come to the stage. Even if you don't say anything, if you come to the stage, you can draw other people into the room just for being here. So, Sheila, thank you for coming up. We're going to invite you up. Horace, we're going to invite you up to the stage. And listen, folks, we just need more people to come in. As you come to the stage, everybody who's following you or friends with you will be notified that you're on our stage this morning. Miss Sheila, are you able to say good morning to us?
Yes, I am. Good morning from Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Good morning. So, what do you think about this information? Do you have a question or a comment?
I've listened to you before and we've spoken. I'm just keeping on the concept, and then I'm curious on how AI is involved.
Thank you so much for being here. Horace, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Don. How you doing? How everybody doing today? Great information as always.
All right.
I'm constantly getting educated and getting learning. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. We're about to bring AI into this right now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's put that on the screen. I'm going to pull up our opportunity cost calculator, and we're going to go over different aspects of how finances work and how we can use our money to help us instead of helping the bank. All right. So let's go ahead and bring that up so that you can see what we're talking about. Now, in the meantime, start inviting some other folks in so that they will be able to understand what it is that we're doing so they can see it also. Okay. So let me bring that. Okay, there we go. Bringing up my program. We're loading it in on this screen so that we can bring it to the screen that you're watching. If you want to see this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get my link here, copy the link, put it into the, paste it into the chat here on Clubhouse. And there it is. That is the link for our YouTube channel. So you can see what's going on. Okay. There we go. Let's bring this over. Put it right here so that you can see it. I'm going to reset our account here so that we can understand how AI is helping us save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible. I'm going to take you through a simplified version of this. John and Rebecca Jones here, they only have 3 loans. All right. So we're going to load in. I had a different scenario. I was talking to a guy in Australia yesterday. He wanted to see a scenario with multiple properties. So we put in here where we had like 11 mortgages in this program, and to see how the program can handle multiple mortgages. But on this one, we just have the one mortgage. So let me make some changes here. Okay. So let me show you what's going on. All right. Miss Jennifer, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Do you have a question or a comment for us this morning?
No question right now. Love what I've heard before and what I'm hearing now. Just came up to do as you said, and you know, you to the
I appreciate that. Listen, I appreciate that you are here just to so to inspire others to do the same.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, thank you. And what part of the country are you in?
I'm in South Carolina.
South Carolina. Well, thank you very much for being here, Miss Jennifer. We appreciate you so very much. And anybody else that wants to come to the stage and do just what Miss Jennifer is doing, she's learning from the stage. Okay. So I have got on our screen right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, our opportunity cost calculator and what it actually does, how AI is helping these folks who qualified, okay, with their income. With their income, here's what they qualified for. I'm going to put this on the screen. They have a car loan of $25,000 at 4%. Okay. They have a visa, as a 21% visa. They owe $2,000 on it. And they have a $200,000 mortgage at 6% interest. Okay. That's what they have right now. Okay. Not very much, but because of AI working for them, they will be able to save $179,752 in interest. Let's get into how AI is going to help them. Now, here's what you have to do to understand. Karan, how are you doing this morning? Good to see you. You need to come to the stage. Everybody who wants to come to the stage, raise your hand, come on up, and invite. That will encourage other people to come into the room. All right. And then watch us on YouTube as well. So here's what's going on with John and Rebecca Jones. All right. They have an income. Here's their income that they're using to qualify for these loans. John makes $950 biweekly. Every other week, $950. So he's not rich. Rebecca gets paid weekly, $700. If you average it out, that's $5,091 a month without overtime. Okay. And their bills are averaging $3,760 a month. That's the average. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but that's the average. And they have an average discretionary after all the bills are paid, and they've had added into their budget savings, and they have an average discretionary of $1,331 after their fund money, after their savings, and after paying bills. Okay, that's what they have left, about $1,331 left over. Here is how the program is using this information. We need to track your spending. How many people do I run into? Not only do they not know how much they're making, they don't know how much they're spending each month. And that can be problematic, even with families who would be considered upper middle class with very good incomes and absolutely no problems paying their bills. but they have no idea how much they're making and how much they're spending. This program helps us to keep track of monies earned and money spent. And then when you do that, then you can optimize what's left. Watch this. So, John, we're starting out in September 1st here. All right. We can see 3 months at a time: September, October, and November right here. So, bringing up to the current month. So, John gets paid September 1st, $950. What does he do? All he does is tell the program, I just made $950 by clicking on execute, right? And by executing that, he's telling the program, I made the $950, and it's added to his virtual checking account in his program. All right. And it matches. So if we go to the accounts, the virtual account in the program has $1,450 in it. If they go online and take a look at their bank checking account, they see they have exactly $1,450. The program mirrors the bank because John told the program, I made $950. Okay, it is as simple as that. Tell the program how much you're making, tell the program how much you're spending, and then it takes over from there. All right, so now, once they do that, they have enough money in their checking account now to pay the mortgage. The mortgage is $1,199.10. Once they pay the mortgage, then that money is subtracted not only from their real bank account, but from their virtual bank account in the program. So the program knows how much money they're making. So we click execute, and it subtracts that money. It's as simple as that. It's point and click, ladies and gentlemen. It's point and click. So once they subtract that money, then we're not going to do every single one. They're going to pay their utilities. Rebecca gets a paycheck right here. All right. But here's what's interesting. I need you to look into the middle where you see these arrows. These are the prompts from the program that are telling them what to do to get ready to save a lot of money in interest. Okay, because it's the interest that keeps them in debt forever. So as the program is looking at this and doing the math, it's saying, oh, on the 5th of this month, John and Rebecca Jones in their checking account will have $100.90 that they don't need for anything else. They've told the program how much money we need to spend on our bills. They've told the program, it's already put into the program, how much money we want to spend on having some fun every month. They've told the program how much money we spend on our loans, the minimum payments. Okay. They've told the program all of these things. So the program knows how much money needs to be spent every month to put money away for savings, to pay the regular bills, and put money on the debts, and to have money set aside for some fun. Okay? So listen, we don't want you to start thinking that the only way to get out of debt is not go anywhere. You can't do anything. You got to drive a 30-year-old car. You got to eat beans and rice 7 days a week. You got to cut up your credit cards. And you got to sell pizzas at night and take all that money and throw it at the debt. That's the way to get out. Start living after you get out of debt. The best way to do this is start living now so that psychologically you can be healthy to manage the interest cost on the loans. Lower the interest cost and you control these loans instead of them controlling you. And then more of your money, instead of going this huge amount of money going to interest, less goes to interest out of your budget, more goes to principal. You're using the same amount of money. All right. So here's what's happening. And I'll break that down for you on an amortization schedule in just a couple of minutes. But John and Rebecca Jones, we have $100.90 going to their savings account, and it's just going to sit there until the program says to take it out. Now, what are they doing on their debt? They're paying minimum payments on the debt this month, just minimums. The minimum payment on the mortgage is $1199.10. The minimum on the Visa is $51. They're going to pay that. The minimum on the auto loan is $460. They're going to pay that. They're going to pay the rest of their bills, and they have an unitemized budget of $1,300 that they could spend if they wanted to every single month and still save $179,752 in interest. They don't have to pay the bank. And because of this interest, they're not paying the bank. John and Rebecca Jones, using the same budget they used to qualify for these loans, one of which is a 30-year mortgage, they will be able to pay it all off in 7.8 years. How about that? 7.8 years. And they know ahead of time. So what happens next? So they pay the phone bill. Rebecca will get another paycheck of around $700. And then the program will then determine, oh, now you have $389.49 in your checking account that you don't need for anything else. So it says, take the money from checking and put it into your savings account and leave it there. If they do, they're projected, it's right there, projected end of the day balance will be $5,600 in savings. Okay? So now what is next? They paid for their food. Hey, Austin from Austin Simons. Listen, man, have you retired? Okay. This is a guy I knew back in Battle Creek. I was a firefighter. He was a police officer. Austin, man, it's good to see you, man. We need to catch up. My phone number hasn't changed. Okay. Hit me up on my Instagram, P.I.L.L Method, and give me send me your phone number. We'll catch up later today. Man, it's good to see you. All right. All right. Look up P.I.L.L Method and you'll find that, or Facebook, and DM me. All right. Let's talk later today. All right. So here's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got the Visa, we've got the auto loan, another paycheck and another paycheck coming in, and we're paying the rest of the bills and having some fun. All right. What happens with all this money that we're sitting in the bank? The program says, you know what? We're starting in September here, but if you follow the program, John and Rebecca Jones, we don't want you to take money out of your budget. We want you to live life to the full. Any money that's left over, put it in savings. It's going to be built up. You have over $5,000 in savings right now, but by October 17, you will have $2,570 out of the money that you have in the bank that we're going to use to put on the debt. Now, if they have over $5,000 in the bank, why is the program only using $2,570 to put on the debt? Here's why. Because this is the optimized number. See, when you're using leverage, you want the least amount of something, the least amount of effort put into something to give you maximum output or maximum return on your investment. See, when you're investing, okay, if you're investing $5,000, all right, and you make $5,000, and then you make $10 on your $5,000 investment, you see, that's a lot of money just to make $10. It's different if you can invest $10 and then get a $5,000 return. You invest a little, but you get a great return. So when it comes to finances, we need to think differently. Don't try to come up with a lot of money to put on your debt. What you want is, what is the least amount I can put on my debt at this particular point in time so that I can save the most in interest per dollar applied, the most in interest per dollar. You want every dollar to kill the maximum amount of interest when you do the math. Okay, this is what the banks won't tell you. This is what they do. Out of every dollar you send them, they're going to maximize how much goes to interest and how much goes to you. They maximize that number. Well, we want to maximize it too. We want to maximize how much interest we are eliminating for every dollar we put on. And we don't want to disrupt that by putting on too little or too much. We want to put the exact amount that's going to kill the maximum amount of interest. So let's look at this. I'm going to scroll down to October to see what the program is talking about. You see the arrows have changed here. We have a blue and a green. This is called what we call the suggested strategic fund transfer to debt, meaning if you do this, you will kill a certain amount of interest. Okay? If you do this, you will kill a certain amount of interest. All right. So if we take a look at this, and the program is saying take money from savings and put it on the Visa and pay off the Visa to zero in just 1 month. Remember, we were paying minimum payments while we were stacking up cash. Okay. People then say, well, they're paying a lot of interest every month. No, they're not. When you do the math on the actual how much interest they're paying each month, it is actually a small amount of money. When we look at the interest rate, we get discombobulated. But when we look at the actual interest cost in dollars and cents, it's worth it just to make minimum payments until we can knock it out. Okay? So what they're doing now is they're going to pay off this credit card. Let me take this out of here. All right. And we're going to go down and pay off the credit card. We're going to click on that. And then the program is going to tell us how much interest we are saving. $1,849 in interest we will save by paying off that credit card. You see, if they did it the bank's way, if they did it Visa's way, they would pay the card off, but they will give the bank an extra $1,849 in interest they didn't need to give. So now they don't have to give that. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So now let's take a look at what else they're going to do with that money. When they make their mortgage payment here on the 1st, they're going to tell the program, we made our mortgage payment on the 1st, like always, so it's not late. Then the program says, wait 16 days. And then this is the right day of the month, this month. Now, it's not going to be the same every single month. People call us all the time and say, what is the right day to pay this? And it constantly changes, ladies and gentlemen. The optimum day and the optimum amount of money is always changing based on the information you give the AI system. And it says this month, we're going to put $550.03. Stop at the 3 cents and put it on the debt. Okay, so we're going to put that on the mortgage principal. $550.03 will save $2,715 in interest on this loan. What if you knew that $550 strategically applied to the mortgage could save you $2,715? Well, shoot, Don, if it's going to save me that much and I have $6,000 in my savings account, why am I only putting $550.03? Why stop at the 3 cents? Because that's the least amount of money that's going to save us the most in interest per dollar. Let's take a look at the numbers here. So if I'm going to save $2,700, can I make this? Maybe I need to make this a little bigger so people can see it. Let's do that. Okay. I'm going to save $2,715. So if I put my calculator on the screen, okay, so we're going to put a calculator on the screen. There we go. And do a little bit of math. Okay. So my savings, $2,715 in interest savings. And then I divide it by my prepaid principal of $550. 550.03. 3 cents. Don't forget the 3 cents. Okay. That's $4.94 4.936 in interest savings, or $4.94. Because of the 6, we round the 3 up to a 4. $4.94. What does that mean? For every dollar I just put on this mortgage, I'm going to save $4.94 for every dollar. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you gave me $1 and I gave you back $4.94, how many times would you all do that? You give me $1, I give you back $4.93. How many times would you all give me that dollar? Okay. So, no, I gotta say, multiple times a day. Steve Mack says an infinite amount of times. An infinite amount of times. You see, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you give the bank above what they're asking for, it makes it impossible for them to charge you interest. Jennifer Felder says, as many times as you will allow. Until I cry uncle. I said, please, Jennifer, don't give me any more dollars. You see, but the bank can't do that. The rules are, if you give me this money, I can't charge you interest on that dollar now, because you gave it to me in a time frame that matters to you. The bank says, give me the money when it matters to me. Every month, when you make your payment, then I get to keep 90% of your payment as interest, when only 10% of your money is going to pay down your loan. But when you choose when to give me the money, every 100% of your money pays down the loan. 0% goes to interest. I will repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of 90% going to interest, when you choose when to give the bank money, you can do that so that 100% of your money pays down the loan and 0% goes to interest. This is what John and Rebecca Jones are doing. So when they do this, they're going to save $2,715 or $4.94. But if they were not aware of the law of diminished return, meaning there's a point at which more becomes too much. More is not beneficial. More doesn't give me a better outcome. When your washer and dryer, when your washing machine says, listen, I need you to put a 1/4 cup of detergent to clean the clothes, to get optimum efficiency in cleaning your clothes. If I put 3 cups of detergent in, will that get my clothes any cleaner? No, it's going to it's going to eventually ruin my front load washer, and I'm wasting money because it's not going to get my clothes any cleaner. If I put too much salt in the collard greens, nobody can eat them. Okay. Okay. What good is that? There's a point at which more becomes too much, ladies and gentlemen, especially when it comes to money. But we have not been taught that. We've been taught, throw everything we can and the kitchen sink at this thing, get rid of it as fast as we can without regard to how much interest we can save and how much interest we are saving. The way that we're doing it now, we have no idea how much interest we're paying. We have no idea how much interest we're saving. So John and Rebecca Jones say, you know what? What if I added an extra $1,000 to that? I'm going to write this down. We're going to do $1,550.03 and apply that to the debt. Not only that, but I'm not going to wait till the 17th of the month. I got the money now. I'm going to pay it on the 2nd of the month. That's the first Monday, the first work day of the month. So I'm going to pay my mortgage, and the mortgage amount, and I'm going to give the bank an extra $1,550 early. not wait to the 15th, the 17th, like the program says, the optimum day and the optimum amount. I'm going to give more, and it should work better for me. I need you all to pay attention to up here, because whenever you tell this program how much money you're putting directly to principal, it will calculate how much interest you save by doing that. By putting an extra $1,000 on, watch what happens to my actual interest savings when I execute it. Okay? $7,541 in interest savings now, because I gave the bank $1,500 in prepaid principal. Now, let's do the math. Let's bring back our calculator, put it back on the screen, okay? Put it back on the screen, and we're going to put in $7,541 and divide it by our $1,500 now, 1550.03. And it comes to 486. $4.86 when we were $4.94 before we're saving per dollar. But because we put more on at the wrong time, our interest savings per dollar goes down to $4.86 per dollar. Folks, the reason why that is, I need you to look at your amortization schedule, because each month that you're on this, the amount of interest that you can save goes down. Every single month goes down, keeps going down until you get down to the end here and it becomes tiny amounts. Okay? It becomes tiny amounts. So folks, that's my alarm. We're almost done here talking about how to save money using AI. And the beauty of AI will coming together saves you the maximum amount of interest per dollar applied each and every time you apply money. This is what is beautiful about this thing. You are now in control of your finances, using AI to save you the maximum amount of interest per dollar so you don't make a mistake with your money. And when you find out how much money you can put on your debt at any given time to save the maximum amount of interest, then you're saying, I don't need to put more money on it this time. What can I do with this money that I have sitting here? You can invest it to make money. When you have a system whereby you can save the maximum amount of interest you can per dollar with the money you're using, and when you reached that optimum point, that's called critical point analysis. Critical point analysis says that this is the right amount at this time that's going to give you maximum output. When you reach critical point, when you have done critical point analysis and found that tipping point where you're not going to save any more interest per dollar, take the rest of your money and apply it to some sort of investment that's going to make you money. Folks, now you have the best of both worlds. You're making money and you're saving money. With the P.I.L.L method, we can help you to do all of those things. So, good morning, Marguerite Chester. How are you? All right. Listen, folks, I need to put this on the screen. All right. So here's what you need to do. If you want to have more, if you want to know more about this, go to ice10k.com. ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. Go to ice10k.com. And when you do that, you will see Dr. Eric Thomas there right in front of you. Dr. Eric Thomas. And because of Eric Thomas, he paid off his debt in record time, paid off his mortgage using P.I.L.L method concepts. Okay. So now I need you to do this. Scroll down. If you want to know the month, day, and year you can be debt free, underneath Dr. Thomas's ET's picture, click on Get Your Savings and Earnings Report. Don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Get your free savings report. My. Follow the two-step process. All right? First step, and then the second step. Once you do that, then we will get your financial data, take that financial data, give you a call, and verify it. Once it's verified, then you can get a report that tells you the month, day, and year you could be debt free. All right. And you can get a consultation with us so that you can figure out how to implement this information so you could be out of debt in about 7 years. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Go ahead and get it. All right. The other thing that you need to do is some of you are really liking this information and you want to share it with others. Okay. If you do, go to ice10k.com. All right. ice10k.com. And what you're going to do is scroll down. I'm sorry, not scroll down. You're just going to look at the bottom of the page. Become an affiliate. It takes 15 seconds to become an affiliate. And we periodically we have affiliate training. And then you will be able to fill this out by putting in your name, your phone number, your email address, and tell us how you want to get paid. Direct people to the YouTube channel. All of those people you know that want to do better with their finances. Direct them to the YouTube channel and follow up with them in 2 days. If they want to know more information, you don't have to sell anything. Go back to the card, go back to our digital business card, scroll down underneath my picture and click on Refer a Friend. Put in their name, their number, their email, their zip code, and who referred them. Put in your name and phone number so that it can be credited to you and give us any additional information and click Submit. Once they become a client, we'll pay you. Okay? You can make anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month or more just by directing people who want to do better with their finances to our YouTube channel so they can learn more about what's going on. Direct to the YouTube channel. Last thing, well, second to the last thing I want to share with you is this. The button down here that says Get My Book. Click on that, get my book. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, okay? And make sure that you get the book, start studying these concepts so that you can be more familiar and be more confident when you're talking to people about directing them to the YouTube channel. And then if you get the book yourself, ladies and gentlemen, please, I ask you, give us a 5-star review if you think we deserve it, okay? On the book. That'll be great. All right. Here's the last thing I want to share with you. Ooh, I was supposed to put a banner across the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put this on so that you who are watching us online will know where to go. ice10k.com. ice10k.com. You can see that now. All right. So now you know what to do. We've got one last thing to share with you. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, I will be doing the 4th installment on, we're working with an online church, Living Manna Online Church. And the series is called Money Answers All Things, Bridging Faith and Finance Through Stewardship. I need you to go to YouTube or to Facebook and look up Living Manna, MANNA Ministries, and follow them on Facebook and subscribe to them on YouTube. And I will be on every Thursday for 4 more weeks. Okay. So coming up tomorrow night, 7:30 Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Mountain, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, we will be on talking about Money Answers All Things, bridging faith through finance. I want to thank everybody for being here today. All right. And there's a lot more that AI can do for you. There's a lot more that AI can do for you in saving you money and giving you control of your finances. Okay. So that's what we want to be able to do, ladies and gentlemen. So be in control. Take over control from the banks, and you tell the banks how much interest you are going to pay instead of letting them dictate how much interest you will pay them. You are in complete control, and you can cut your interest costs by about 75% and use that money the way that you would like to use it. Okay? So thank you very much for being here today. We'll be right back here on Friday with another installment of the P.I.L.L method and a better way to eliminate debt. And today we learned that the P.I.L.L method using AI, artificial intelligence, is not just a better way to pay off your debt. It is the best way to pay off the debt, because there's no other program on the planet that is designed to make sure that you pay the least amount of money in interest that's mathematically possible for you, and we guarantee it in writing. All right, so our last word is going to be from Dr. Eric Thomas. Let's hear what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method, and I will see you again on Friday. Dr. Eric Thomas, where are you? What do you have to say about the P.I.L.L method today?
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife, because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.